Good morning, Australia.
Oh, it's a really bright and sunny morning here, and good afternoon, Texas.
Oh,
And it must be
thank
cold
you.
there. You're wearing a jumper.
Well, I'm chilled. I stay chilled, but no, it's actually warm outside. It's like 77 degrees Fahrenheit. I know the rest of the world's on Celsius, but we're on Fahrenheit. And it's nice and warm outside, but where I am in the house, it's a little chilly. So got my
Okay.
jumper.
And
But
I've got look, we've got the same color on.
you know what? There's a reason we've got purple today.
Shall we
So
spin the wheel?
do you
Let's
want to
spin the
spin the
globe.
globe? Spin the globe.
There you go.
All right. Well, you know what? I know where it's stopping, and it's going to stop almost in my backyard.
Oh,
We are
okay.
stopping today in Humble, Texas, which is a community and a suburb right outside of Houston. So literally, it's almost in my backyard. And when we stop in Humble, we are stopping to see.
Yay, come on down,
There's
Polly.
Dr. Polly. There's Dr. Polly.
And what a coincidence. We've all got purple on.
Yes, in honor of Dr. Polly. Well, you know what? What I just realized? We have 3 IIPA past presidents sitting back here.
We do.
We sure do.
Ooh.
We sure do.
Wow.
In the house.
I'm the oldest.
Yay.
Okay. I'll let you be that.
That's cool.
Oh, we're just so happy to have you. We're so happy to have you.
Glad
And I know that a lot of people that tune in and watch our little Iridology around the world want to know, Chris, what's the first question?
Yeah, well, they want to know how long you've been an iridologist for.
I have been an iridologist since 2004.
Cool. So how many years is that? That's 17 years.
17 years.
Yeah. And what inspired you to be an iridologist?
Well, I was looking at holistic remedies. My late husband had passed away due to cancer treatment, conventional cancer treatment. We didn't understand anything about holistic treatment at the time. And I had begun to do some searching, and there was a little health food store down the way from where I lived. And I would go and have Chinese food lunch right next door and go into the health food store and get my supplements. And one day they had one of Ellen Bernard Jensen cards that had the iris map on it. And I happened to have my daughter with me. She wanted the card. She thought it was interesting. So we got her, it's a business card shape, but it's the iris map. And so we're sitting in the car and she goes, Mom. I said, what? She goes, there's a vagina in my right eye. Well, I kind of looked like, oh, that's really not where it is, but okay. And I'm driving and she hit me and she said, Mom. I said, what? She said, there's a vagina in my left eye. I said, give me that card. So I looked at the card. Didn't mean anything to me, but I was intrigued to know that there was a vagina in your eye. And so I went back to the health food store and began to inquire. And I took a class that they had. It wasn't on iridology. It was about building better health. And so I asked a question, silly me, I asked a question. And the teacher came at me with a flashlight and a magnifying glass. And she said, do you mind if I look at your eye? And I'm going, okay, I'm really not sure what this is about, but okay. And so she gets right up in my face, right? And she starts reading my mail. She starts talking about my personality. She talks about just whatever. And I'm going, okay, this is witchcraft or this is something. I don't know what this is. I'm not even sure that I like it. Anyway, I was very, very intrigued. And I went back and I had a consultation. She explained what iridology was all about. And I was hooked. I had to do it.
Awesome. That's a good story.
That's a best story. I wonder if I've got a vagina in my eye.
I bet you
not.
I bet you don't.
You do not. No.
I bet I don't have a prostate in my eye either. So
that's right. That's right. I will tell you that when my daughter became pregnant, I looked in her eye because she didn't know she was pregnant. She thought she had the flu, and I looked in her eye and I could see that the uterus point was a little bit irritated. And I thought, of course I didn't say anything because that's not my place. But I knew she was pregnant before she knew she was pregnant.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Well, Polly, now that we've heard all about the vag being in the eye, what's your favorite sign?
My favorite sign are the contraction furrows.
Oh, really? Well, tell us why.
They say a lot about personality, but they really give me insight into how the person is going to respond to the protocol. So I know if there are a lot of contraction furrows, they're usually low on minerals, they're usually low on their B vitamins, and they usually are not moving their bowels the way they need to. They have usually they're stuffers as far as their emotions. And so that means that they could have some thyroid issues and that kind of thing. So the contraction furrows give me a lot of information about the person and how to talk to the person to get the person on the same page that I'm on. So when we're looking at protocol and we're looking at what their goals are, I can speak to them in a way that if they have contraction furrows, the more contraction furrows they have, the more compliant they're going to be, or the more stubborn and rebellious they're going to be. So I have to make sure they're on the same page. If I can't get them on the same page, I know that I'm not going to be able to help them. But if I can get them on the same page, I know they're going to do the protocol the way I write the protocol, and they're going to have really, really good results in a quick amount of time. So I love to see that sign in someone's eye.
Excellent.
Yeah. And what are some of your tricks in getting him to the right same page as you? Because they can be quite stubborn sometimes. They
can be. Well, one of my party tricks is using time risk analysis.
Good.
So they'll look at me and we live in the Bible Belt, okay? And so a lot of times when people don't know about holistic methods, they think everything is New Age, that it's not godly, it's not Christ-like. And there's not a lot of good information out there that it's amoral, right? It's got no religion to it. It's whoever is doing the practicing, it's their character, it's their ethos and all that kind of stuff. And so if I find that someone's being stubborn, I will look at the collarette and I will ask them, can you tell me between this age and this age, was there a significant emotional event? And they're like, how did you know that? I said, well, your eyes told me. Can you share what happened? And they'll say, well, yes, blah, 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 blah. And they'll tell me. And I'll say, well, if your eye is revealing that, which is a very close, private secret, right? Your eye is telling me things about your digestion. Your eye is telling me things about your endocrine system. Your eye is telling me things about whatever it's telling me. So we need to trust the wisdom of the body because your eye is communicating things that you don't know, that things that you're not aware of. And so if I can focus them on their emotions, because most people, they don't wear their emotions on their sleeve. I know some do, but most don't. And when I'm a complete stranger and I can look at their eye and I can say there was a significant event, could be a good event, could be a bad event, but it was a significant event. It's like, oh my gosh, there must be something to this. So that's one of the little things that I use to get people on my side.
I love that. I'm going to use that. I love that.
I love time risk for that very reason. It solidifies a lot of the sessions that we have sometime where people are stuck. And so I will come in and use time risk for that very reason, to help them move forward with something that is holding them back physically, emotionally, behaviorally. So that's a wonderful. Oh, love that explanation.
Yeah.
Well, it
doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes when you're working with your client and you use time risk, you don't know what kind of reaction you're going to get. Either they're going to go, you just blew my mind, lady, or we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah. No, some people are really closed about some things, and it's too hurtful to go there.
Yeah, it is.
Exactly. And so when you open that door a little bit, and Kathy, we were talking earlier when you said you had this idea, right? Mm-hmm. And so I really believe, and I focus on connecting with the divine. All right. Mm-hmm. When we open up our clinic in the morning, we pray for divine healing strategies because God is the one that knows how to get you well, not me. Mm-hmm. So one of the things, you know, we have Tracy in our office. Both of you have met Tracy.
Mhm.
And when she first came for her iridology appointment, and I do not remember saying this, okay, but I'm looking at her eye and I asked her, when was your gallbladder removed? Now, you cannot tell that by looking at the eye. You can tell that there is something in that reflex, which is what I saw. But what came out of my mouth was, when did you have your gallbladder removed? And that shocked her. And then I said, I don't remember saying this, but she swears that I said this, you know, we can get your thyroid working again. And she just kind of looked at me like, how do you know? And it's like, it's just that, you know, it's just that divine connection. Your eye is talking to me, and, you know, I'm just intuitive to know what it's saying. And we've got her thyroid working perfectly, you know, but that's what got her on the right page, is by me seeing her eye.
Excellent. That's
Right.
excellent. Well, we've come to that place in our little show where we want you to pick a number between 1 and 36. And we're going to ask a question from the old pegboard here.
Woohoo!
And it's no telling what we're going to get, but you just give me a number and I'll get you a question.
33.
Oh, 33. Let's see what 33 is going to say. All right, let's see here. 33 says, looking at someone's eyes that have lacuna at 8 o'clock with pigment and lots of pinguecula in the sclera of both eyes, how would you approach this?
I would ask them about, were they outside? Are they getting a lot of wind damage, a lot of sun damage? I'd ask that question. I would also ask them if they have any family history of liver or gallbladder issues, because I find when the gallbladder is not working properly, we have faulty fat metabolism. And so faulty fat metabolism can show up in the eye as a pinguecula, in my experience. Also, it can show up as just yellow in the sclera. So anytime I see that, I ask them if they do have their gallbladder, if in their family, is that a family trait that people have their gallbladders removed? And then I will ask them if they still have their gallbladders, if they have any pain. And then we will look to see if there might be some kind of preventative therapies that we can do to prevent them from losing their gallbladder if they still, in fact, have one. If they don't have one, then we really talk about fat metabolism and how the fat molecules are too large to be metabolized without the appropriate enzymes and oxybile and all that kind of thing. And so they never know. And we've had, Kathy, and I'm sure you've had this too, we've had people with their gallbladder removed. We put them on the proper enzymes without them doing anything. They don't do anything different. They don't exercise. They don't change their diet. They don't do anything except take their supplements, and they lose 15 to 20 pounds in 2 weeks just because they're metabolizing their fat. I mean, I'm a hero when that happens.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent.
I'll have what she's having.
Right.
Oh, cool.
That's funny.
Yeah.
What would you do,
Yeah.
Chris?
I mean, I'm just thinking liver. So detox. So it depends on the person. It depends on their diet currently. Depends on the severity of their symptoms, on their bowels. But I would talk to them about cleansing and I mean, with that, with the lacuna and pigment in that sort of, liver area at 8 o'clock on the right eye, we want to do this regularly. This will be like an annual event and really good for them I usually try and book people in, whether it's every few months or annually, just to check how their diet's going, check how their liver's going, and give them some support.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. And don't you find that when people are older, say 50 and older, that they really need to do that annual cleansing, because their liver is their largest filter, and it gets clogged up. Yeah. And so that's what I tell people. You change your air conditioning filter, you change your vehicle, your fuel filter, your air filter, you change your oil filter, whenever you're supposed to. You've got to cleanse your own filter, because you don't want to have a transplant.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. I always start my clients first on a liver cleanse. Before we ever do a bowel cleanse, we start with the liver. You cannot start a bowel cleanse first and expect the liver to follow through, especially if the person's having constipation. But when I look and I see that pinguecula, I just like y'all, look at that gallbladder, look at that bile duct, look at that liver, and then I take it a step further and I might look at the thyroid. Since the hormones are I just lost my word.
Conjugated.
Yes, through the liver. T4 to T3 conversion happens in that liver. So I'll go take a look at that thyroid to see if there's some sluggishness there, some inactivity there, and then we will move into that as well. So I just go just a skosh further with that, and I know you guys do that too, but maybe though that little tidbit of information is going to help somebody out there. So excellent. Cool. Excellent. 3 minds get together, no telling what we're going to brainstorm at that. Yeah. Well, Polly, this has been a blast. Girl, I'm so glad I've got you in my backyard here. This is awesome.
Yes, we get together from time to time.
We do. We've known you for about 12 years now. Yes, ma'am. And it's been a blast. I've enjoyed working with you in every capacity that we have with IIPA and outside of that. And it's fun when we all three can really get together here in Texas and have a good time. Absolutely. So we appreciate
Polly was the first person who asked me to come onto the IIPA board. So it's your fault.
So you know what? I see it. I know a good thing when I see it.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that was a good move on your part because he and I found out we were related.
There you go. I love that. I love that.
Well, Polly, we thank you. We're going to let you go on and have your day. And we appreciate you just stopping by and talking to us. And we want to introduce the rest of the world to you. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Cool. Thanks, everyone.
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.